Brass tacks.
Yes, yes.
Just got a shipment of the dopest dope I've ever smoked. Hands down, dopest dope I've ever smoked.
It's
right
not
here.
better than the blue oyster weed. It can't be.
My friend,
I can't handle better than
this is like if that blue oyster shit met that Afghan Kush I had, and they had a baby, and then meanwhile that crazy Northern Light stuff I had, and the super red espresso snowflake met and had a baby, and by some miracle those two babies met and fucked. This would be the shit that they birthed.
Here we go with another episode of Weed the People. I'm your host, James Currey.
And I'm Anthony LaFerrara.
My man, Pots and Pans. What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? We're really excited to be back with another episode. But before we kick it off, I got to give a shout out to one of our newest sponsors that we're working with. Shout out to Kush Creams. Absolutely amazing company. 6-time Cannabis Cup Award winner for the #1 topical. And last week, it's just so funny. Last week, we were literally talking about topicals and how much I enjoy them because they really actually do help with my aches and pains. And Kush Creams won the #1 topical 6 times at the High Times Cannabis Cup. So I'm really excited to get my package in the mail that she sent us and to test it out for my neck and all my other aches and pains from all the years of beating my body up. But go to kushcreams.com and pick up your order today. I'll tell you right now. And you were saying you give it to your father, the bombs, and how much it helps him. And this is the best one on the market. So the link will be down below unless YouTube decides to hit us with another flag for linking marijuana businesses. I don't know why.
We'll find out.
We'll find out. We're going to put it down below. If not, it's going to be in our link tree on our Instagram account. But huge shout out to them. Really excited to work with them and over at that company because they're doing some really great things. And I love bombs and
they're like-minded individuals. Which
absolutely.
Amazing.
That's really cool. They've lost a lot of support because of their views like we have, unfortunately, but at the same time they've also gained a ton of support in the Donna Patriots. That
right kind of support.
The right kind of support. Exactly. So really happy for them and really excited to build a relationship with them going forward. So shout out to them. Go to kushcreams.com and pick up your bombs today. They have a ton of stuff like permafrost, all different stuff. It's like Ben Gantz steroids. Yeah, and it's been a really fun week, and we're back again. Last week we had Judith Rose, and
we did. That was a great episode. She's a great person, like great vibes, and
she's good people. I'm excited to sit down and have a sesh with her, like in real life,
little
IRL sesh, a little IRL sesh. What are you smoking on there, Ant? What do you got today?
What are you talking about, James? I have no idea what you're referencing.
I saw you got a nice little J that you're puffing on. What are you smoking?
A little cocktail.
Oh,
here. A little salad.
A little mixed greens. A little tossed salad.
It's daytime. If you couldn't tell from the sun coming through the window here.
I couldn't tell. I had no fucking clue, dude. No idea. It's not 11:30 in the morning.
It's part of the story. It's part of the story. Who knows? Someone might be watching this at 2 a.m.
in Bangladesh. Like it's
exactly. So if it's daytime, I like to stick to the sativas, and I'm not on your terp game yet level of understanding.
Well, they don't test yet in New Jersey, so it's tough to even tell.
So basically I have Durban Poison and Grape Goddess, and Durban Poison is beautiful. It smells amazing, and it's extremely flavorful, and I like it for during the day. It keeps me focused, talkative, energetic.
Perfect for doing the show.
Absolutely. I mean, there's nothing worse than when you have something to do and, you smoke before you have whatever activity, and it's the completely wrong kind of cannabis for what you're about to do. It's terrible. It'll not completely ruin your experience.
It just makes you more anxious and
absolutely.
Like you just feel like mush. Like, do you ever do public speaking?
Yeah, I love public speaking, actually.
So I do too.
You heard that best man speech. I fucking killed that.
Absolutely crushed it. Absolutely destroyed Nick's best man street speech. But no, I used to do a lot of public speaking for one of the companies that I used to work for. And I would always smoke before I would do public speaking because it would just kind of take the edge off. But sometimes you'd smoke something that wasn't the right smoke for
Yeah.
that situation. And you're up on there talking to 1,000+ people, and you're just like, what was I gonna say? Like, you see me do it on the show. Like, I'll be literally in the middle of a sentence. I'm like, fuck. Damn, there's the curse
Totally
jar
lost
again.
my
There's the
totally
curse
lost
jar.
my train of thought, you know?
Totally forgot what I was talking
Oh, it
about.
happens all the time. It's like, here's the $1,000 to remember what you were talking about.
Nope, couldn't tell you.
Sorry.
Couldn't tell you. Sorry. So
I did that one time in college when I took a public speaking class, and we
Big
had
baller.
we had to write it was like a 2 to 3 minute speech about any topic that we wanted to, something we were familiar with or whatever. So I wrote a topic about martial arts and studying martial arts as a child and what that did for me, how that shaped my personality, what have you. So it was supposed to be like
we go hand in hand.
it was like I said, 2 to 3 minutes, right? And I was like, you know what? Let me smoke before I go. And I smoked before the class. So I was up there talking for 10 minutes. I thought I crushed it. I was like, wow, that was a great speech. And it really was. I really went over like everything. I really got into it. And because I knew the material so well, I was able to just really, really talk about it, you know? And then I sat down and she was like, yeah, great. That fantastic. But you went about 8 minutes over.
You went about 8 minutes over the lot of time, almost tripled the time that you were supposed to do.
And now 2 people are not able to give their speeches.
Time is moving so slow. What's that from? I forget. But no, and you know, we
what do you got there, James?
What do I got right now?
Yeah. Since you're always holding this rig.
Oh, my nice
like a baby.
George W. Kush, the commander in chief. That's his name, George W. Kush, the commander in chief. That's my guy, G Dubs.
That's cool.
So I got some Boston cream pie by Tahoe hydro. They're okay. Nothing special. The terps are pretty nice. Got some really nice 7 milligrams of limonene, and it's got some 3 milligrams of myrcene and some 2 of carafilin, so it's not terrible, but it's very dry.
That's based on the weight, like the total weight, or how do they determine that?
They test it through the med.
Yeah,
I don't know how they test it.
No, I'm just thinking about that a little more now because it's like 10 milligrams, right? That actually has a weight to it, also, doesn't it?
It's an oil. So that's what they.
That's what I'm saying. 10
some
milligrams
are now,
per what? Maybe it's per gram.
Probably. But I'm seeing now a lot of dispensaries are putting percentages because I don't go to the dispensary too often. I got my guy. Shout out to my guy.
That's great.
But legend menu.
If you want to go visit him, he's my guy. So just go see my guy, and he'll hook you up.
Shout out to my guy. Love him. Good guy.
Really good. My guy at myguy.com.
Yeah, my guy.
Put in code my guy 10.
My guy. Putting code weed the people. My guy. But no, it's all right. It's getting the job done, but I'm just waiting.
Well, what don't you like about it?
It's very dry. And
do you ever do like Judith was talking about last week? Do you ever do the like the orange peels?
I do occasionally, but I don't really.
I haven't done that since I was so young, but it used to work. It worked fantastic.
But it affects the flavor of the smoke.
Yeah, I mean a little citrus, or I guess lemon peel probably. Does that work too? Probably.
Yeah, but I don't really like to do too much. I'll get the humidity packs. I'll use.
Yeah, that's what I have. I use those. But to be honest though, I don't think they work as well as the
Well, here's the thing.
As the orange peel.
People need to store their bud properly as well. Like me personally, I keep all my bud in black light jars. Yeah. All of my bud is in
that
black
glass?
Yeah, it's glass. But it's all in black light jars, so no UV light can get through it, and it stays as fresh as possible with the little humidity pack.
I mean, you saw my like little beaker looking jars.
I have a bunch of those.
A stopper, but I keep it in. it's called an apothecary case. It's so badass. My wife got it for me for.
Isn't that what?
My birthday?
Yeah.
I got it for Nick for his best man gift. Yeah. and I was like, I got it for him before I even had it, and I was just like, wow, that thing's fucking awesome. And so she got it for me. I love it. It's like one of the best gifts. But they're clear jars, to my point, and it has a lid. It's closed, so of course
So
it's
you're good.
protected from
Yeah.
from the UV light. But yeah, that's very important.
Yeah, because I I bring my bud with me everywhere. I don't want
But
to.
why? I mean, I guess the UV light breaks down the cannabinoids,
Yeah, it affects
or
I don't
of
know.
course
I
it's
don't know
going
the
to dry.
science behind it, but it's
Of
gonna
course
dry
it's
it
going to
out.
dry it out. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
You don't want the UV light just crushing your cannabis, and it's gonna cause a bunch of
Some
issues.
people might not know that. Like you might
No.
have it in a mason jar, like on a shelf, and you want to look at it because it's pretty.
Looks like nice
Um,
in the window.
yeah,
Yeah,
but you're actually doing yourself a disservice.
big time.
Yeah.
Big time disservice, and you're ruining your smoke. Like you shouldn't be handling your bud too much. Like you shouldn't be like touching it. You're breaking all those trichomes
Mm-hmm.
and all that good stuff. Like you have a keef catch in your grinder for a reason, because you want to catch all those trichomes that break off from mulching your bud. That's why I really like my grinder. My grinder.
Well, here's the thing. I know you did a lot of research on grinders, but like I have two grinders that I use. One has an extremely fine screen, and the other has maybe a screen that's a little bit too wide of a gauge, I would say. And so one catches like crazy amount of keef. Okay, the one with the wide, of course, and then the fine one, almost nothing. Like it'll take a year or longer to get even the
It's
tiniest
very
bit.
important. That's very important.
So I don't know. Maybe it's somewhere in the middle is better
Yeah.
because
See, this is why I did research on grinders, Anthony. This is why
I know that's why I brought this up. I know you did
I
this, so
spent the time
I'm
to look.
stealing some info.
I have I spent a stupid amount of money on grinders, because you can get those like stupid amount of, like you can get those plastic grinders that have
Full
the little,
disclosure.
yeah, stupid amount for no reason. I like it. It feels nice. It makes me happy, so that's why. But you could get those plastic grinders and probably get the same result that you get with these.
Mm-hmm.
But I bought the Cali Crusher Homegrown. They make a really good grinder, and then my favorite one that I have is this one by Lift Innovations. Shout out to them. I got one of these when they first
that's
came
cool.
out.
So is that multi-tiered or something?
What do you mean multi-tiered?
Is there more than one keef catcher on that thing?
No,
It looks like
no,
it's got
it's-
like a bunch of pieces.
No, it's just a chamber, but it's
Oh.
very it's heavy. It really feels nice. Got a really nice feel to it. But what I really like about it is it's got these it doesn't mulch the bud. It's got blades inside. I don't know if you can see those, but it's got blades inside that chop the weed rather than mulching it. Because when you put it in
I
the
see what you're
grinder,
saying.
you're just like mashing it in there and grinding
So that's
it.
almost like a blender.
Yeah, almost like a blender. But what I really
Yeah.
like about these grinders, to help you figure out what you're doing with your grinder and your keef catch, this one does not catch as much keef as the Cali Crusher Homegrown. That grinder catches so much keef, it's unbelievable. This
But I
one
mean,
does.
that just means you're just smoking it when you consume your cannabis. That's all.
Yes, absolutely. You're smoking more of it when you consume your cannabis rather
I guess
than
it's a personal choice.
I have a jar full of keef. Like
Oh, what do you just save it?
I just sprinkle it here, sprinkle it there, put some here, put some
But I'm
there.
saying, like when your keef catcher fills up, what do you just dump it in?
Yeah,
And then start over?
Yeah, and
That's
start over.
cool.
But this one, I use
Good
this
idea.
grinder mostly, and this one doesn't catch a lot of keef. But the reason being is because, like you said, the screen is not that thick. But what I love about this grinder is you could literally order a thicker screen. Or, for example, like I have
that's cool.
the medium grate.
It's
here.
modular.
Yeah, I could switch that out and make it super fine if I want it
wow.
ground up super fine. If I want it thicker, like nice and fluffy, I can get a thicker
How
one.
do you change? How do you change it?
Buy it on their website.
But I mean, it
And,
just pops out, or those
yeah,
are
it's
like
got a little
Allen keys?
it's got a little screw that doubles as an ashtray, and it fits in those
Man,
little
stoners are
in those
innovative as
little
fuck,
three
right? Oh,
holes.
excuse me.
I know, swear jar. It fits in those little 3 holes, and you just
They're
twist it.
very innovative.
It comes right off. But it's not even just that. Like it's makes it very easy to clean. Like I'll literally just take it apart, drop it in a bucket of 90% isopurel, and it'll clean the whole thing, and it'll be perfect. But what I also love about these grinders is, you know how most grinders, the metal ones, they're like threaded and you got to twist and twist and twist. And sometimes the thread gets crossed and the grinder gets stuck and you're like,
Yeah.
what a pain in the dick. And you're like, you can't even get your butt out.
Swear
Like,
jar.
oh my God.
Is that a swear? Who cares?
It's too late now, dude.
Sorry.
It's too late. We got to
It's gonna
stop.
happen.
We got to stop. We got to stop. But it's going to happen. This is how we talk. This is who we are. This is what you get. You get the real authentic James and Anthony.
Yeah, these are
but,
just our telephone calls.
Yeah,
but,
literally.
Recorded on video.
But what I really like about it is it's a quarter turn to open it. So all I do is boop.
Oh, that's cool.
And I put it on, quarter turn, and it's good to
That
go.
makes sense.
And it's so easy. And the keef catch is the same way. Oh, there goes a bunch of keef all over the floor. But the keef catch is the same way. It does the same exact thing. So it's nice and easy to open up. It never gets threaded. But so does the Cali Crusher has the same technology. That's why I originally bought the Cali Crusher in the first place, because it had that.
So why do you use that? Do you use that one more than the other one?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Why? Because I like the weight to this. It just feels nice in my hands. It's very heavy. The Cali Crusher is like thinner space grade aluminum. This is very thick and solid. And I also like the blades that chop up the bud rather than mulching it in the Cali Crusher. And I like a little thicker screen because I don't really want to save my keef that much. I'd rather smoke it right then and there and enjoy it while I have it. But they're both very good. But like I said, like this grinder is I think $150, and the Cali Crusher is $100.
Mine came with the apothecary case. Well, one of the ones I used, the one with the larger screen came with the case. I like it.
Is it worth it? Do I like them? Yeah, absolutely. I love them. But can you get the same result from one of those plastic grinders that have a little storage that you throw in your bag? Yeah, you can. You just get the bud stuck at the bottom, and there's still bud like it's caked on there. Like it is what it is. It's just part of grinding up your cannabis. The product is gonna be all over the place. So, if you're like me and you like having nice things and you're a pothead, definitely pick up one of those grinders. If you don't give a shit, then it's not really worth it. Like if you just like those plastic little cups, you'll get the same job. I don't like the grinders that don't have a keef catch or don't have a second chamber that collect the bud below. Like I don't like having that because then it
gets whatever, like all gunked up in there.
Yeah, I don't like that. But and you're like banging the grinder, it's banging the dick. Again, there I go. But does it do the same job? Yeah, you grind up the bud. It's better than using your hands and getting your fingers all sticky. But the thing is, out here in Vegas, the bud is never sticky. It's so dry. It's so like I'm gonna bring this up every week. I'm gonna bring until someone hears me that is in the cannabis community in Las Vegas and wants to sit down and figure out ways to fix this problem. I'm gonna say it every week. The bud is dry. The bud sucks. Why am I gonna spend these crazy amount of money in this high crazy tax if your product is just average? Yes, there is some good.
I mean, why can't they all, once it's packaged, why can't they just all be stored with humidity packs?
Because they don't do that. Some of them are starting to do that with their jars. Some of them.
I mean, you have to.
It costs that takes away from their profit.
It's
all
does,
money.
But if you're trying to say that it's medicine, okay.
But they're
if you're
not.
trying to say
it's
that it's
here.
medicine, it has to be taken care of.
It's rec here. So
okay. So then even the medicinal patients
the medicinal patients
they're getting
the same products. Right. They're not getting anything.
So
different.
then if you're not taking care of it for them, then it doesn't.
But they're never going to just keep coming back. Keep going. So a lot of people just like the vapes. A lot of people were like, "Oh, since I used to buy flower, but now the dispensaries are open, I just buy vapes." And they come in and they literally buy like 6 or 7 flavors of vape cartridges, which go for $60 a pop.
But
they suck. And they're good. They keep you going. Don't get me wrong. Like I like vapes for those sticky situations where like, oh, you're out at a restaurant and you can't really smoke, but you want to step outside, have a quick smoke, and you just hit the vape real quick. Yeah. Like the New Jersey, what I loved about the New Jersey medical program, the one thing that I really loved about New Jersey is anywhere you were allowed to smoke cigarettes, you were allowed to smoke weed if you had a medical card.
Oh, get out! Really? I didn't know
Yeah,
that.
yeah, that was in the medical bill, and I was like, "Yo, this is so cool." So I would literally go to bars and like just light up, and it'd be totally fine. Like cops would be there. I don't even want to mention the bar. Cops would be there. They'd come up to me like, well, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "Oh, I have a medical card," and they'd have to call. They wouldn't know the laws. They'd have to call their station to make sure that this was okay.
Dude,
Yeah,
how have you never told me this before? That's fantastic.
yeah, dude. You could literally. I
What?
don't know if the rules changed because I haven't renewed my card since I
Uh-huh.
got to Vegas because I want to get my concealed carry license. And you can't get a CCW out here with a medical card. You can get a gun, but you can't get a CCW, which is stupid. I can, drink a ton of booze and get hammered. And
Some
have a
Xanax and some painkillers.
yeah, totally fine, totally cool. Weed, no, get out of here. Like meanwhile, like the potheads are gonna be trying to diffuse the situation. Like, yo, let's sit down and smoke some weed. Like, let's chill the fuck out. We don't need to be fighting. Like, I want to put this thing away. Like, I don't want to shoot you, dude. Like, just let's smoke and we'll talk about it. Like I got some fire,
I
but
mean, it's the craziest thing too, because that would fix the situation. That
yeah.
would diffuse the situation. I mean,
Yo, you smoke weed? Like you literally two guns drawn on each other, and like the pothead's just like, yo, you smoke? Because yeah, you
Why?
want to
What you
smoke some?
got?
You gonna yo, I got some fire. You want to smoke? All right, bet. Let's go.
Okay. All right, then we'll shoot.
Then we'll have a duel. Like we'll literally 10 steps.
Aaron Burr and Alexander Hamilton.
But yeah, but I have such an issue with the bud out here, dude. Like, it's so expensive, and it sucks. It's not even good. Like, if it was really,
I mean,
really,
I will get there, man. I really do. I think we'll.
I think it's gonna it's gonna go one of two ways, and I don't know if it's gonna be in our lifetime because it's still so new, and there's still so many states that don't have legalized marijuana, and it's causing so many issues because there's no there's no consistency in anything. There's no way, and it's all corporate. It is
Yeah.
literally all big money that are coming into this industry. They see the dollar signs, and they don't care about the product. All they care about is the yield. You like
Yeah.
if you
Well, I
if
mean,
you
that's what
you
I'm
better
saying.
have this amount of pounds for this amount of lights. Like, I
Yeah.
want this. Doesn't matter how good it is, just get it out.
Yeah. I mean,
And
that makes sense. But what I'm saying is we need to almost create this problem of the corporatization of weed nationally, right? Like what you're just talking about. Okay. In order to get the reform for the people that we need, not from the top down, but from the bottom up. So, in addition to the people needing to be a lot more forthright in the affairs of the day, in this way, they'll also need to be, of the driving force of how they want it to be. So, unfortunately, once it's legal, then the people have to make it happen to where it's
well, here's
fair.
the thing:
And
they see the dollar signs allowing home grow just go away. They
well, the
see
people just what I'm saying is the people just have to,
that's what we've been doing with cannabis
make their
forever.
own decisions. Yeah,
That's what we've been
exactly.
doing
And
for
it's
cannabis
going
forever. Because
and it's going to continue because the people who are doing it are already rebels in a
well,
way.
that's not really because the majority of people that I know smoke weed. Like you meet people.
Yes, okay, but if you're doing that in a state where it's not yet legal, then you are comfortable with making your own
Yes,
rules.
but I wouldn't consider you a rebel because
Why
everybody's
not?
doing it. I it's not like you're doing something wild, man, like rebellious.
No,
It's
but
just
it
like,
means that they're capable of doing, probably capable of
well,
doing more.
that's why I got my medical card in the first place in New Jersey, because I was tired of worrying about
Of
getting
course.
pulled over. Like I remember I was going to see the Guardians in the Galaxy movie at the
Hmm.
drive at the restaurant movie theater, and we were on our way home. We smoked before we went in there in the car, reeked, and I had an ounce in the back of the trunk, and we got pulled over, and it was a disaster. It sucked. It was miserable.
Yeah.
Um, and shout out to my boy. He ate it. and I bailed him out, but he took the charge, the
Wow,
possession charge. Yeah, shout out to my boy,
that's
legend.
stand up.
I was with my girl, and he ate it. He's like, "Yo, it's mine." They didn't find the ounce, but they found like a dub in his backpack, so he ate it. He ate it. So they didn't search
So
the rest of the
ridiculous.
car. Yeah, it was
Yeah.
ridiculous for a dub. So he took the possession charge. So shout out to him. But literally after that, the very next day, I literally went online and I was like, "Yo, how do I get this medical card?" And I looked up all the conditions because at the time it wasn't many, and I just happened to have one of them. I was like, "Perfect, bingo, going." And it was $600 for a medical card. It was insane. And then it was like 587
Hmm.
for an ounce. It was absurd. It was so crazy expensive.
Well, I mean, really, you would just need your medical pouch, and you could put
Well,
anything in it.
well, that's really what I got it for. So when I got
Yeah.
pulled over, so like, but cops didn't even know the rules. Like every time I would get pulled over, they'd be like, "Yo, your car smells like weed." I'd be like, "I know." Like, what do you mean you know? I'm like, "Oh, I'm a medicinal patient." They're like, "What do you mean I'm like, "I have a medical card to carry weed." They're like, "Get out of here." I'm like, "Yeah." They're like, "I've never pulled someone over that has one of these." I'm like, "Well, here you go." And I show them my card. I remember
Oh, fantastic.
I remember being in Brigantine, New Jersey at like a family reunion, and I was going to we had just gotten Marley, and I was going
Hmm.
to she was a puppy, little tiny puppy, and she was staying at my cousin's house in the cage, and I was going back every hour to let her out.
Hmm.
And we're driving to my cousin's house, and we got pulled over, and it's January down by the beach, and they pull us over. They pull us out of the car because it smelled like weed. And I told him all this. I showed him the card. He literally sat in his truck for 25 minutes while we're standing outside in the freezing cold of January
Oh my God.
while he's trying to figure out how to handle this because he never experienced this before. Like, and then once he came out, he's like, "All right, my sergeant said you're good to go. Um, can I ask? Can I see the weed? Like, can I see? I've never seen medical weed." I was like, "Well, if I'm not getting in trouble, right?" He's like, "No, you're good to go. Go home if you want." I was like, "All right, cool, bet." So I opened it up and I showed it to him because it was just so. I was like, "How often do you have the opportunity to literally flaunt your weed to the cops?" Like, I was like, "Look, dude, it's right here."
This is great.
You know, so I took full advantage of it, and he's like
Yeah.
smelling the jar. He's like, "Wow." I was like, "He's like, where'd you go?" I was like, "Oh, the one in Woodbridge, Garden State." And I was like, "They have one in Egg Harbor Township too." I just never go down that far. Um,
You should have probably had a training course or something.
yeah, I was like, "Yo, I could teach you. We can learn you how to handle
No,
these
I mean
situations."
it's really astounding though that they don't have like a little, you never ever you've worked in a corporate environment at one point, you got to go through your sexual harassment training, like
Yeah,
the
they
click
have
through, right? Like don't do this, don't do that. Maybe have a little quick click through for some of these
25
guys. Like
minutes, dude, standing
it's
outside
incredible.
in the freezing cold of January. I didn't even have a jacket because I had heated seats in my car. I was in the M, and I had heated seats, so I didn't have my jacket on. I know, just brush my shoulders off. Um, and it was freezing outside. I'm like, I'm in like a button down because we were at a family reunion. Like, I'm
Yeah.
wearing like nice dress clothes, and uh, I had nothing else, no jacket, no nothing. They emptied my pockets. Like, it was crazy. It was so crazy. Um, but they have no idea what they're doing. They have no idea what they're doing, these cops.
Well,
And
I'm sure by now it's a lot
yeah,
different,
this
right?
was
This
like
was probably several years ago,
like
right?
4 years ago. This was like
Yeah,
three,
so
four
it's
years
pretty
ago.
new.
Yeah, this was a long time ago. Well, more at least almost four. So yeah, about 3, 4 years ago.
Yeah.
Um, but it was really wild to have these interactions and uh be okay with it. Like they were just being able to smoke. Like I remember going to Jets Giants preseason game at the
Hmm.
Meadowlands, and I had a medical card, and there's a bunch of smoking sections, and I went to the guy. I was like, "Yo, listen, I have a medical." The security guard, because if I just lit it up, they would have just thrown me out, and they wouldn't
Yeah.
even have asked questions. They
Oh
would
yeah,
just,
yeah. You laid the groundwork.
oh yeah. I went up to the security guard. I was like, "Yo, dude, I just want to let you know, I have a medical marijuana card, and the state law says that I'm allowed to smoke anywhere there's cigarettes being smoked. So I'm just gonna let you know I'm gonna smoke some weed right now." And he's like, "All right, yo, just go over there." So not everybody's asking what's going on. I was like, "All right, cool, I got you." And I just would go and smoke weed in public places, and it'd be totally okay. It would be so weird, dude. Like you're literally sitting there.
But
And
probably now you would. I guess, still need a medical card in order to do that. If
I'm sure.
public consumption is not permitted.
I'm sure. I don't know if they changed the law with medical marijuana, but that was how the law was written when I got my medical card. And I would spark up all over the place. It was so great, dude. I'd literally bring a pack of joints with me, and I'd just be like, "Oh, you guys are gonna smoke a cigarette? I'm coming. I'm coming." Everybody's so mad at me. They'd be like, "Yo, can I take it?" Nah, cops are right there. If they see me passing, I'm losing my medical card. Not worth it. And I'm just facing a J right in front of their face, like "fuck you." Oh, God,
that's great. That's great.
But it was so good, dude. But the rules are changing, and I welcome legalization. I welcome lounges and just treating it like alcohol. I welcome that. You know what I'm saying? Like that's how it should be treated.
Not really. I disagree. I mean, it shouldn't be treated like alcohol. It's
no,
not even close. It's not even
I'm
close.
saying in a public setting. In a public
agree
setting.
with you. I agree. I understand what you're saying, and
in a
that's the only
public
way
setting.
that it'll happen. But at a principles level, it's not even close. It's
well, yeah,
apples and oranges.
100%. But I'm saying for the purpose of legalization, I'm fine with the treatment of cannabis as a substance like alcohol in the public setting.
Yeah, I don't think it should be available to children unless it's for specific medical reasons.
Yes, and the CBD and things like that should be off the table, and they should be allowed to anybody because it does so many amazing things.
CBD, yes, I'm talking about the psychoactive.
Yes, no, I agree. Unless it's
the recreational aspect of
absolutely.
it. No, I don't think children should have access to it.
No, but I think that when talking to children, I think it's very important that you don't lie to them and you tell them what you're doing. I really, really believe this, and I think this is how we fix the problem and the stigma around.
Well, it's a huge social change. Huge social change that we're going through with all of this. It's not just laws.
But it also starts with the cannabis users. Like there's so many people that smoke pot that lie to their kids about their cannabis use, and they tell them, "Oh no, I don't do that." Like I'm not like.
Yes, it's because of how it's been labeled for so long.
Keith Strope, the founder of Normal, he says it perfectly. He goes, if I lie to my kids about my cannabis use, by me lying is admitting that I'm doing something wrong.
Yeah.
If I'm not doing anything wrong, why should I lie to them? And if you truly believe that you're not doing anything wrong, you shouldn't have to lie to them. And the best way is not through demonization, it's through education. It's through educating these.
Yeah.
Look at places that have legal, but like Denver, the kids aren't using weed as much because they're getting properly educated on what it actually is.
Well, it took me a long time to realize I wasn't doing anything wrong. It took a while, but that was because of all the social conditioning.
Well, I bought into the social conditioning. When I was a kid, I hook, line, and sinker. Like I fell for that. I was an athlete. And I remember my cousin started smoking weed and I lost my shit. Like I flipped out on him. I was like, yo, dude, you're gonna turn into a fucking bum. Like, what are you doing? It was really like I remember it vividly. Like I was like, yo, you're a fucking loser. And then I went to a high school that had mandatory drug testing, and my one buddy that got caught with some weed.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
For
well, no, it wasn't
athletes or just
it wasn't mandatory.
It
It was voluntary, but your parents signed you up when you were a freshman, so you were in it. You were in it. And
volunteering is mandatory.
Yeah, exactly. That's how it was. That was how it was. And you had to get your parents' signature until you were 18. You had to get your parents' signature to get out. Once you turned 18, you can get out. But I remember my buddy, someone snitched on him in high school. And this was after like I hated weed. This was after that point, but this was like when I've never smoked before. And he got caught and he got expelled from the school. So when they expelled him, it's supposed to be random drug testing. I got drug tested every week. I was fine with it because I knew I was clean and I got to miss class. And I wasn't in class most of the time anyway. I'd go down to the gym and, talk to my wrestling coach or go to the guidance counselor's office. Actually, my guidance counselor was Nick's old neighbor. I don't know if you know this.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I don't know if you know this.
Small world, man.
Yeah, really small world. But I used to go on there and aggressively hit on her. I used to go and aggressively hit on her in high school and sit in her office for hours. So shout out to my high school guidance counselor. Um, but I got to miss class, so I didn't care and I didn't smoke. But after I graduated, because they put me through that, what I did was literally graduation night. My buddy came over, he rolled up a blunt. It was the worst, sloppiest blunt ever. Like it was the dumbest. Like he could not roll a blunt. I was like, yo, this is fucking terrible. But we went out and smoked, and I'm the type of person, just like when I do research with politics or anything like that, I have to know what I'm doing. Like I don't,
Mhm.
I want to be informed in what I'm doing. And I started doing a ton of research about weed, and that's kind of when I started to open my eyes to what this planet actually is. And I remember sitting there
Mhm.
watching these things and learning these things and seeing the proof with my own eyes and going to my parents like, look what they're telling us. Like this is bullshit. Like why are they telling us this? And it just furthered
So
my
that's like,
red pill.
yeah,
And I
yeah.
and I and I tried to use weed to help open my parents' eyes to the lies that they've been telling us. So it just kind of furthered. And then after that, I was like, all right, well, if they lied about this, what else are they lying about in the drug world? Psychedelics,
Yeah.
mushrooms, things like that. You see that coming into play now in the research that's coming out. It's really, really
It's
cool.
the it's is it decriminalized in Seattle
I think
or
I think they
Portland? It's
didn't know.
Portland.
I think New Jersey. Well, yeah, but I think New Jersey is allowing
They
it.
they try
Mushrooms,
I think it was a
psilocybin.
proposed I think it was a proposed amendment, but I don't think it passed.
That's fucking wild. Being able to just buy mushrooms. Like imagine going to the store and be like, "Yo, let me get a eighth of this."
I wonder if it did pass down because I know it was proposed for sure.
Yeah, I know they were talking about it. Portland decriminalized, I think, everything. But you look at places like Portugal, and Portugal's a really wild place. And this happened a long time ago. It was probably over 20 years ago when they did this. But Portugal decriminalized every drug. And
Yes, they did.
I think the United States needs to take an approach like this.
Oh.
Did it pass?
The MRF signs bill easing penalties for magic mushrooms in New Jersey. People caught with magic mushrooms in New Jersey will face less jail time and lower fines after MRF signed a bill into law that downgrades the offense.
That's better than nothing. We're
So,
doing boomers in New Jersey. Everybody's blasting
pe-
off.
people previously charged with possession could face between 3 and 5 years in prison. Now, the harshest penalties will be 6 months in jail and $1,000 fine. Wow. So it's still
Well,
like,
I hope I want expulsions or
well,
expulsions,
no. So, I mean, it's still a big
expungements,
deal.
expungements to start coming for cannabis in New Jersey. That will make me so happy because I have a weed felony. Like this is stupid.
You're a criminal, James.
I'm a criminal. They caught me with 4 ounces of weed. And
You're a fugitive from the
made me
law.
a criminal. These bastards. 4 ounces. These like 4 ounces. Like you could literally have up to. You could legally have 6 ounces on you. I had four, and I have a felony. It's ridiculous.
I know that you should be able to get that expunged.
I better be able to. Be amazing.
Yeah.
That'd be amazing. Like the whole thing wiped clean off my record. That'd be amazing. I hope that happens.
Well, how's anyone, even if it's not, how's anyone going to hold it against you? So you're holding something against me that's now legal.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
was just doing the
I was just
legal
ahead of
thing.
my time.
Yeah,
I was
exactly.
ahead of my time.
I'm a time traveler. Um,
You're penalizing me for having the gift of foresight. I mean, come on, is that what
I
we're
was only
doing here?
helping the cause. I was fighting the good fight.
We wouldn't be here without my actions.
Exactly. Like there,
Yeah.
you guys would be sitting there smoking behind the scenes still. You should be thanking me and shaking my hand. This guy, big penis energy out of you. I know. Thank you. Um, but no, in Portugal, they made everything legal. What they do is when you get caught with hard drugs, like say you get caught, shooting dope out in the alley, because the reason why they did this is they had a big issue with dope in Portugal, and people
Mhm.
were intravenously using, and AIDS was spreading like wildfire, like it was everywhere. So they needed to figure out how to stop that from spreading. So they said, let's legalize everything. And if you get caught doing hard drugs, instead of sending them to jail, where when you usually send just a recreational drug user to jail, they become a better criminal, and they when you have a felony or you go to jail, it makes things a lot harder for you in your life. Like it really does. Like you can't get a lot of jobs, you can't do a lot of things
Mhm.
that non-felons could do. I know from experience.
I
um,
know from experience.
it's crazy. Like it really is. And so it usually makes them a better criminal. It doesn't help them. And usually when they get out, they start using again as soon as they get out, and they're like counting the days till they can use again. Some of
Mhm.
them get clean, but the majority go back to using. It doesn't solve their issue. So in Portugal, you get caught, they sit you in front of a panel of six psychologists, and they determine whether you need actual help, or if because some people want help, they just don't know how to
Yeah.
stop, but some people don't. Look at Skid Row, they're like, yeah, I want to be here doing heroin and drugs, but that's a whole different story. um but they sit you in front of a panel of six psychologists, and they determine whether you need help, or if you're just doing some dope just because you want to blast off and get really fucking high for a while and just be stuck in a couch. Um, and then if you need help, they send you for help, which is cheaper than sending them to jail,
Mhm.
cheaper on the taxpayers, and it actually helps the drug user.
I think it makes perfect sense.
And yes, Portugal, the arguments, well, Portugal doesn't have a lot of people. It's not nearly as populated as the United States, and we have way more. If you really think about it, there's probably only a couple 100,000, if not maybe 1 million hardcore heroin users and meth users. Like, there's really not.
Yeah, I really don't know. But I mean, that's a
I,
stupid argument. If it works for a sample of people, then
yes, it should work
it should
for
work for a larger population. Like that. If you're saying that if that's your argument, then you're saying all scientific studies are invalid.
well, that's why I'm very excited. I'm very excited to see the results in Portland, and it makes me nervous that it's in Portland because there's a lot of fucking wackos in Portland,
Mhm.
a
Yeah, there
bunch
is.
of wackos out there. But
Yeah, it's a different environment
it's a different approach
there
because
compared to
the
Portugal. I
the
think.
war on drugs is just a war on people. That's all it is. It's a war on people, and
It is for sure.
it's a losing war. They will never
It's a money
win this.
making.
Yes,
It's a wealth transferring scheme.
if you cannot keep drugs out of a maximum security prison, which you know for a fact, drugs are being sold left and right in maximum security prisons. If you can't do that, what makes you think you can keep drugs out of a free society? It's impossible.
Yeah.
It's impossible. So you're fighting a war that's never going to be won. And who is this war being fought against? The people, the
Yeah, but
users.
unfortunately, you're using logic, James, and logic has no place in government decisions.
None.
No.
Zero. Speaking of government, we wanted to keep this not political, but this is an important point because Joey Bag of Donuts is in the news, and it
Yeah.
pertains to
With cannabis.
the
So I
cannabis
mean,
industry.
we gotta touch on it because it's weed the people. You know what I
And
mean?
it's funny. Most people think stoners are a bunch of raging liberals, and it's not true. There's actually a ton
No.
of conservative stoners. Shout out Kush Creams. Love them.
Shout out to Kush Creams.
They lost their original account because they were sharing good stuff. But again, let's not get too political. But
But
Joey
again, can't
Basements,
this is something to bring people together.
yes, exactly. This is something to bring people together. And Joey Basements, he what did he fire 5 people?
They weren't fired. They were asked to resign or work in a remote work group or something like that
AKA,
for their for past cannabis use, even in states where it's legal.
and he previously had stated it would be totally fine.
I
Correct.
mean, to be honest, I didn't do a ton of research into it.
But
I read maybe a couple
he's
paragraphs.
he's penalizing people that work in his administration for smoking weed.
That's the gist. Yeah.
That's literally like saying, "Oh, you went to the bar last weekend. You can resign, or I'm going to send you to,
Well, if you're going to say
Timbuktu."
that, if you're going to say that, okay, these people for peacefully using a plant are going to, and it might have even been 4 years ago, 5 years ago, 10 years, or whatever. It's just at some point in their past, you're going to penalize them, but you're not going to say, okay, everyone who has done cocaine has to leave. nobody can be in this administration.
What about his boy Hunter?
But they're putting their drug use, I believe, on a government form, like on a disclosure form for their
Why?
jobs.
Why?
I don't know. I think it's part of the vetting
Do
process.
you know how long it took me to tell my doctor, even though I don't have a doctor out here yet, because I don't have insurance.
Mm-hmm.
But when I was in New Jersey, do you know how long it took me to tell my doctor that I smoke weed? Like, I just avoided it because of the I don't want to get not even the stigma. I don't want to get in trouble. Like, you think that you're not because the doctor can't say shit, but it was just like, all right. And I also didn't want to hear it from the doctors because
they don't know.
They don't know shit. But then once I started talking to the doctors and I would talk to them about it, they would try to tell me what they know about cannabis, and I'd ask them simple questions, and they'd have no fucking clue. They'd have no idea. And they have
but you have to trust. You're supposed to trust their opinion just because they went to medical school.
Yes, and they don't get taught
on everything.
Yeah, they don't get taught any of this stuff. Like I forget
financial advice, everything from these.
Was it last week that I was saying how I would show them peer reviewed studies and they didn't even want to see them? Was it last?
I don't know.
Week?
You do a lot of shows, James.
Yeah, I don't remember that. I did so many shows this week, and there's so many things going on. I don't know what I said on what.
It's all one big show.
Yeah,
really.
It's literally one giant show. Welcome to the James Currey Show.
I'm your host, James Currey, with my special guest, James Currey.
Yeah, welcome. But it's just ridiculous that people are still getting in trouble at their job, at their workplace, for something that is way better for you, doesn't cause as much damage, and there's no hangover like alcohol.
You could be drinking a bottle of Jack every night, a handful of Oxys, and a couple Xanax, and then Adderall in the morning to get you going, and that's totally fine.
You'd be dead if that was totally what you're doing. You'd be dead. Like, that's insane. That's a lot of drugs. That's like,
okay.
I don't even want to say the person's name, but that's
maybe cut that back a little bit. But I mean, all of those are legal substances that you can be consuming on a regular basis. But
did you ever hear
people in the administration getting penalized for like smoking a half a joint to help them go to sleep?
Speaking of a ridiculous amount of drugs, did you ever hear Jordan Belfort, the Wolf of Wall Street, talk about what his daily drug intake was?
Yeah.
It is
incredible.
It's incredible. Like the fact that this guy,
it's not like a Hunter S. Thompson.
No, not like Hunter S. Thompson, because that guy. Well, I don't want to talk about him because
that's incredible.
Evil
no,
man,
he is, but I mean, I'm just saying. Like, I remember seeing his schedule.
It was a different cocktail of drugs. It was different than Hunter's. It had some similar, a lot of cocaine, but man, you really he was listing this off, and I was like, "Yo, what? How are you alive right now? Like this is insane. Like
every day."
4 a.m. he'd be up 4 a.m. just to take his drugs. So he'd be fucked up on Quaaludes all morning till like 7:30 in the morning, from 4 to 7, and then he'd come down and wake up and then just start all of his uppers. But he would wake up at 4 a.m. just so he could do Quaaludes.
So he never really slept.
Probably not.
And he was never sober.
Probably not. Imagine working at that place, though. Like, imagine working at that was Stratton or whatever.
I'm not fucking leaving.
Oh my god, dude, that'd be amazing. That'd be so much fun to work at.
That's so stressful. It's so stressful. They really romanticize it a lot, but
absolutely,
extremely stressful jobs.
Oh yeah, well, and I was in a sales job that was similar atmosphere. Like when we were at the office, like we do wild man shit. It was fucking intense. Like, there was some wild things that were going on at our meetings. But it was a very stressful job. It was very, very stressful.
I think those types of jobs tend to attract a certain type of people.
Yeah.
So
yeah, me. I like that. I love high stress. Like, I love the challenge. I love all of that stuff. But it was like, no midget toss were happening at the office, but they were doing some wild stuff. They would send us down to Cancun every year to party, and it was insane. They'd get like Snoop Dogg to come down and play, and it was fucking wild, dude. The shit that they were doing at this place.
Money
But
well spent.
yeah, very, very well spent. I had a lot of fun. Free trip. I was like, all right, Cancun, here we go. +1.
Who
Here we
did,
go.
who said? I don't know who said I spent 90% of my money on fast women and drugs, and the other 10% I wasted.
I don't know
I
who
forget.
said
I
that.
don't know
That's a
who
great
said that.
quote.
I just thought it was funny.
That is a great quote. But I think the cannabis industry is going to be very fun and exciting. It's going to be like the Wild West. I think there's a lot of steps that we need to take to really hit the go in the direction that this industry really should be going in.
Yeah.
We need these boutique growers. We need these people that really genuinely care about the plant to get involved and be able to get involved. And
Hmm.
um, we need research to be done.
Small
And
batch.
yeah, but we need tons and tons of research to be done because we know about terpenes, we know about their medicinal values, but there's so many things that we
We're
don't
way
know.
behind. We're
Yeah,
way,
there's
way,
so many
way
things that we
behind.
don't
Yeah.
know. We don't know about all the effects that CBN has, or CBG, or CBD, or even THC, Delta 8, Delta 9. Like there's so many things that need to be studied and learned about this plant. And like I said, I did that study at Columbia University, and it was a joke. It was like,
Hmm.
this is how you guys are studying the plant. Like, this is not a study. This is not a true study. This, like, I would like, what? This is stupid. Like, you just wanted to see how addicted I get to weed. Like, I give two shits about weed. Like, you want to give me money or food when you're depriving me from food, I'm going to take the money or food 10
Yeah.
times out of 10. 10 times out of 10. This is stupid. um but one last thing I want to talk about before we wrap up is something that I also have a major gripe with, and that's hot dabs. I cannot
Hot dabs.
stand watching these people take these blazing hot dabs on their torch. I can't stand it. It drives me up a wall.
Well, yeah, I quit doing that.
So yeah, well,
It's
first off,
miserable.
it's you can't enjoy it. One,
Nope.
two,
And
you're
it's
not.
wildly inaccurate.
What do you mean?
I'm saying like you don't you're not going to get a consistent temperature, so you know it's like Russian roulette basically.
Well, no, you're getting a consistent temperature, but it's fucking still 1,000,000,000 degrees. Um, that's why I really like having my e-nail or my
Well, what
Puffco
if you
peak.
want 2,000,000 degrees?
It's insane. I know, right? But there are these piping hot dabs, and people don't realize that. Like, okay, cool, you might get a milkier hit, you might get more smoke when you take a hotter dab, but THC has a boiling point.
Hmm.
All of these terpenes have different boiling points. The CBD, the CBN, they all have different boiling points. And when you have it at this super high temp, you're just killing all of that. It just evaporates
Yeah.
immediately and goes into the air, and you don't get any of that medicinal benefit. You're just getting a ton of smoke, and you feel really high because you just took in a huge hit, and you're coughing, and you're cutting off oxygen to your brain because you're coughing or you're holding in the smoke. And that's why you feel so stoned. So you need to stop with the hot ass dabs. Like, I always, if I heat up, if I use
You
a
taking a
torch,
stand?
I'm taking a stand. No more hot dabs. Like, right here, right now, stop with the hot dabs. It drives me nuts. Like, when someone hands me a torch, like, I'll heat it for a minute, and then I'll let it sit for 20 to 30 seconds. Um and let it cool down a little bit so it's not
Yeah. Well, you have to. You got to let
piping
cool.
piping hot. But I have an e-nail for my glass, and I have the Puffco, so I don't really need to worry about temperature. I can set the temp to how I want. It's really
Yeah.
nice technology. That's
Well,
what I'm saying.
accuracy is
I'm
what's so
I'm
important.
When it comes to weed, I'm bougie as fuck. Like, I like bougie. Like, that's why I have the carbon filter. Like, I do all of this stuff because I want
Mhm.
my things to be nice.
The best experience
Yeah,
possible.
exactly. I don't want to be dying when I smoke. I don't want to cough my lungs out. But you don't want to have these hot. You want, and not only that, you get none of the flavor. You get nothing. You get none of the taste. That's
Yeah.
what I love about the Puffco. You get all of the taste, all of the terps. You taste every bit of it.
Yeah. Like
Excuse me.
live resin, you need to have it in something
Yeah.
like that Puffco.
So it's something that everybody needs to stop. If you're on Instagram and you're taking these fucking gram dabs, cool, good for you. looks really cool, but you're an asshole because you're burning off all of the THC, all
I
the
feel like
smoke.
that's such a waste.
It really, I mean, that's all for
It's
show.
such a waste.
It's
Yeah.
all for show. It's all to flex on the internet. It is
Yeah,
pretty
like
cool.
you do that all the time.
Huh?
Yeah, like you do that all the time.
I
sure.
know people that actually do just take globs. I'm like, yo, you're fucking crazy. Like you're abs. Like people don't like the puff coat because you can't take globs. Like it's bananas. But at the same time, like you're not getting the full benefit of the plant. Like you really need to do it at a lower temp. I try to keep it like 500 or below, to be honest. Um, for a lot of my smoking,
What
that's
does
even
that
still
Puffco go up to?
600. Goes up to 600.
And do you have a favorite? You have a preferred
Yeah,
general temperature or no?
yeah. Well, they don't. The old one, there's no. It doesn't hook up to your phone. It's only a couple set temps. I think it's like 200.
Oh, there's four. Oh, there's four different temps. I think.
Yeah,
Right?
it's blue, green, red, white are the four different temps, colors. On the new one, the version 2, you can literally go on your phone and set the temp that you want, which is
Yeah.
really cool. I'm really excited for that. I got to get my hands on one of those. But Anthony, it's been a lot of fun.
James.
I got a lot more weed to smoke, and
Yeah.
cheers.
Looks like you set a cat toy on fire.
Oh, my hemp wick. I highly, again, another little suggestion for everybody. I highly recommend. You picked some up, Andy. How do you like it?
It's great.
Can you tell the difference?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Because I went to hit my dugout and I forgot to. I guess I just forgot to use it out of old habit, and I went, oh, wow, why did it taste like that? And I was like, fucking James.
I told you. You taste all that butane when you inhale. Like,
Yeah, you really do. It's crazy.
It makes a huge difference. This is one of my favorite things. It's like $10 on Amazon, and you get it sent you. I have 420 feet.
It was 18.
$18 on Amazon.
Yeah.
420 feet of it. I've had this thing for 2 years. I never use a lighter. Like I only light the wick, and it makes such a huge difference.
Plus, your lighters go a lot further then.
Oh yeah, they do go a lot further. I still cruise through lighters, but I don't lose lighters that often. I just smoke a lot of weed. But the hemp wick, pick some up. It's so worth it.
Yeah, it really is great. It's such a small investment that lasts a long time, but it also makes such a big difference.
Makes your smoke so much more enjoyable.
Yeah.
You don't taste like think about every time you inhale on a bong.
A small change for a big difference.
Yeah.
Is amazing.
You get all the taste. You don't inhale any of that butane, which is not good for you. You know, inhaling that butane, not good for you. And now you get a lot more flavor. Some people
should have listened.
I told you. I told you.
You told me like 4 years ago.
Yeah, I've been saying this forever. I've been using this hemp wick for years. Years I've been using it because it made a huge difference. And everybody that I tell to make that switch, I'm telling you right now, make that switch, use it for a week, 2 weeks, and then go back and take a hit with a lighter. You'll be like, oh, why was I ever doing this?
It's so true.
And you'll never want to go back.
It's incredible. It really is incredible.
So
I gotta say,
it's cheap. Go to your local smoke
mind.
shop. You'll have some. Like you don't, this was literally, it was so cheap.
It's beeswax and hemp.
Some people probably make it themselves. A bunch of hippies and make it themselves. But it makes a huge difference in your experience, and you don't taste it.
Dude, the hemp wick industry has just become so commercialized. I just,
we got to make our own hemp wick. We got to make our own hemp wick.
No, we got to make our own grinders.
Yes, absolutely.
Now that you've done all that research.
Oh yeah, no, we're gonna do some stuff.
Get some plans on a CNC machine.
Oh wait, well just wait till you see what we got planned for this brand and this company. It's gonna be a lot of fun. It's a long journey. It's a long journey, but we appreciate everybody sticking with us and checking out our work. But on that note, hope everybody has a great week and gets nice and stoned and stays blessed.
We'll talk to you next time.
Thank you, Anthony. We will talk to you next time.
Wow.
Yes.
This is the product of baby fucking.
Smell it.
Okay.
Smell it. Enjoy. It's like God's vagina.
Oh.
What do you want to bathe in it?
I just want to live in here.
Yes, you want to be it?
Oh my God! I just want to shove it up my nose and have that smell all day. That's amazing.
Shove
It's
it anywhere you like.
Beautiful. What's it called?
Pineapple Express.
Pineapple Express.
Yes, it's this thing like El Nino, this airflow that comes from Hawaii and Canada, and it gets the dirt, mixes it in with the weed in a very special way. It's actually very scientific. I won't go into it right now, but I am the only guy in the whole city that has it. Only 10 bones more for a quarter.
Okay, I'll take a quarter.
All right, you're on.
Thank you very much.
Let me get my scale.
Get it going. Grab the scale. Let's get me out of here.
All right, fucker.
What the fuck is this thing?
Ah, cross joint.
Yeah.
Never smoked one of those?
You can smoke this?
Hell yeah, man.
No.
This is the future. This is like the apex of the vortex of joint engineering. It's rumored that M.M. O'Shaughnessy designed the first one, the guy who designed the Golden Gate Bridge.
Of course.
My second favorite civil engineer behind Hans Carl Bandel, Madison Square Garden. What you do is you light all three ends at the same time,
Really?
and then the smoke converges, creating a trifecta of joint smoking power. This is it, man. This is what your grandchildren are going to be smoking. Future. The future.
That's amazing. Well, got the weed
Yeah.
in the bag.
I'll get that
Beautiful.
little nugget in
Okay.
there.
Be careful with that thing, man. Here's the cash. Grab the stash. Alrighty, man. Thanks. Have a good one. Don't hurt yourself. Adios.
Hey, wait a minute, man. Let's smoke this fucking thing.
I can't, man. I gotta.
I can't even light this thing on my own. Yeah, I need your help, man.
I'm in.
Come on!
Man, why not?
Come
Let's
on,
do
yeah!
it. Yeah. Why not? What do I do?
Okay, here's what you do. You equip yourself.
I'm equipping.
Okay.
Equip me,
Now,
sir.
There
Nice.
we go.
Okay.
You are going to light these two ends
Okay.
while I light this end.
Okay.
Are you ready?
Ready.
Blast off.
Ah! I'm gonna do it.
Good, go for it.
Yeah.
It's better to cough. It's like makes you 10 times more higher than the Crossroads and the Pineapple Express, man. You're like totally fucking gong showed, man.
Fuck.